So welcome back to designing a photo website from scratch. We're using the SmugMug platform, as you know. This session today, we're predominantly looking at images for sale and images for storage, in fact. So we're going to have a little bit of navigation, but one of the key things I want to kind of really emphasize is how I use SmugMug as well for my vault, my kind of original backup of the JPEG files. Now I shoot a JPEG and a raw file and at the same time, and what I want to do then, if we kind of just quickly go into Bridge to begin with, this is a shoot of Molly. You've seen her on several of my videos, and then if we click onto a folder, I want to actually separate them. As we can see on the file type, there's a camera raw, there's 90 of those, and there's JPEG images, there's 90 of those as well. Click on the top right hand side to create myself a folder, and this would be Molly B, the 072921, and this would be classed as JFC, JPEG from camera. And then basically what I've got to do is click onto JPEG, click onto full folder, Control A to select all of the files, Control click off the folder as such, and then just drag it, all of these JPEG files into that full folder as such. Now all I'm really interested in is this Molly B full folder here. Now remember, all of the camera raw files are still there, okay? But if I right click onto it and I just do reveal in Explorer, this has just popped up another window over on my side here, and you can see that we've got those there. Now how does it apply for me? First thing I need to do is log in. Bit of a coughing fit there, sorry. So the first thing I need to do is log in. So let me remember, this is the SmugMug site that we've created, this photo website. It's a scrolling front page with a bit of visual navigation. We're going to click on to log in. And remember that this is just a pure dummy site that we're creating for this series. So in this case, we're going to go into Organize, and I want to create somewhere to store these files. So I'm going to go up where I'm kind of on the main home page, as you can see here, site home page. So this is everything under its umbrella. With that there, I'm going to click on create, and I'm going to create a folder. And this would be MC Vault. And it's basically going to be private to me. So nobody will be able to find it, not even me, unless I'm logged in. If I click on create, that's done the first thing. Now within that folder, I will obviously want yours. So I'm going to create a folder again, and I would have obviously 2023, click on create. I would want to go back into the MC Vault, and I would have the client folder, which would be 2022. Click and create, and then click do it again. Because Molly, this shoot was actually done in 2021 that we are using. We've got a folder here now called 2021. Now you can obviously call those whatever you want. Within that 2021 full folder at this point, all I need to do is click on the upload folders. And basically from here, that separated folder I did, all I'm going to do is just throw it into that upload area, and it's going to do that for me without any trouble at all. Now remember, I turned the header full folder into private, which means all the other folders below are also set into private as well. So even in 2023, 2022, 2021, if there were any folders in there, basically they are all being set to private as such. You can have an app on your smart device as well, and you can log into your website, your SmugMug website, using that, and you'll be able to actually see anything. So what I've got here is basically Molly's JPEG from camera images, and you can see it set to private. So that means that nobody can find it unless you are logged into my website as such. So I wanted to kind of do that because I back up everything as I'm kind of going along, because whilst those were backing up, in fact, I would have then gone into the Bridge environment. That's what I use. I know many of you use Lightroom. I prefer Bridge, but it's from here. In fact, I would go in and give them a star rating and basically choose the best images. The best of the best is really what I want to be showing to the client. And then obviously any of the other images I basically put into a folder of not selected. But once the client has been in for their viewing and they've actually placed the order, the not selected raw files would be deleted. Why? Because I've chosen not to show those to the client for one reason or another. Could be a pose, whatever it is, and things really. Okay, so from here is what then we would create the kind of the client files from and everything else, and that's what we're seeing here. In fact, there's 33 photographs here, but probably most of my boudoir shoots would be shown about 48 to 50 different shots. There's not enough different images here, in fact, to actually consist. But we'll come back to this file now in a minute because we'll want to upload this into a client file. So before we go, we may as well actually kind of reveal in Explorer. This is this folder now, of course. And it's already got a header name, so that's good because we can drag that folder in, or we can go and create a gallery, which I'll show you anyway. Right, let's go back to the website. And at this point, we're back into the site homepage. And the next thing we want to do is create a place where we can store all client files. So before we even upload client files as if they're going to view them, I've got to reiterate that I would recommend you in a business sense that all of your viewings are done in a face-to-face level. The online galleries, the online viewings are basically only after they've bought. The reason being, if you've watched any of my kind of sales kind of techniques on Academy or even on YouTube, you'll know that I kind of plead with you, don't try and do any hard selling. If you give the clients amazing photographs to look at, then they've had an amazing experience, I hope, as well. Then they're going to be buying no matter what. 80% of them are going to spend money, big money. That's what we want. 20% will spend little or nothing. Well, that's okay. We accept it. But the key thing is that if you leave a client just visit a gallery and choose their own, that's all they're going to do is choose the bare minimum. So this is really for after sales rather than anything else. Okie doke. What are we going to do? We're going to create a folder again. And we're going to call this client files. And then in the same way, you know, my housekeeping is copying the information kind of going through. If I want to select a feature image, go into the site-wide images. And is there something there that we could use? Perhaps we can use this kind of round image here. I'm going to press done. And then at this point, if I didn't want the folder to be visible, excuse me, I would turn it into unlisted. Remember, if I turn it into private, nobody can see it. All right, nobody can get there, even with a link. So if you want to get there with a link, use unlisted, or you're going to use the public element. In this case, I want the folder to be able to kind of be visible. And then we're going to click create. So at this point now, we want to create a gallery, and we're going to use Molly as our example. So I could either upload the folder here, yes, click on it, and drag this full folder into it, yes, or I could go ahead and basically create a gallery. Let's just drag it in for now, okay? So if we drag it in, that's going to upload the images. Whilst you're doing these things, SmugMug will allow you to do other things. Okay, so I could go into the organize, yes, at this point, into my client files. You can see Molly's is uploading as we go. Has it done it? No, not quite yet. But let's go in and create another gallery. In this case, we'll do it in a manual way. So let's just give a different name from it. So Millie A, and this would be the 7th month, and it would be the 21st, and it would be 21. Yes, and this would be Millie A boudoir, and obviously any chance I get to put boudoir into any metadata at all, I really want to be doing that. Right, so we can't select an image yet because we've got to upload, yes, but we can start to set some settings up in here. So if we go into security and sharing, we can say, okay, do we want to make it visible? Well, there's two steps here. If I want to create a preset, I cannot include a password within a preset. So if I'm going to create a preset, which I want to do, basically we kind of just can't put it into a password for now. So in other words, I've got to leave it on anyone for now. Okay, doke. If you want to make it unlisted, so you have to give a client with a link to get there, then obviously you would turn that into unlisted anyway. And you can also have an unlisted gallery that still needs a password, right? So you can do both of those things. Photo protection, we've kind of changed it in here to an iPad Retina 4. We're going to right click is on, apply a watermark. And basically I've created, just before we got going today, an F4 watermark as such, yeah? But if I want to create a new one, it just kind of brings us into this environment here. And what we want to say, so it's F4 boudoir photography. Yep, we can go in and basically change it to a different font. That's really down to you. We can go and change its size. We can change its color. We can change the name. So in other words, because I shoot a lot of white sheet, I definitely don't want it in white because that will kind of disappear. So if we click onto it and just have it as a light gray, then that's good. At least it'll show up. The name of the watermark. So this is just the client files. F4, let's say. Yep. And then we're going to make it extra large. And we're going to place it in the center, but we're going to chuck the fade down so it'll kind of give it like a wash. Now, that's going to be applied to every single image as we upload. Yes, we're going to hit create. So that is now done. All right. We can go back to here. However, it won't see the watermark that we've just made. Okay. So if we just cancel it for a second, yes, now we go back to create the gallery. We go into yes, we copy and paste that as we just did. Boudoir, boudoir. I'm going to lose the A, of course. Boudoir. Oh, I've got figures. Here we go. I can't choose the image, of course. I haven't uploaded the images yet. And I want to make it public, but I'm going to put a password on in a minute. Guest uploading, we'll talk about that in the future. I've changed it to Retina 4. I've put the right click on, I've put the apply watermark on. In this case, I want to actually click on client files, F4, yes. I want to make sure the download button is off, otherwise they'll be able to download the image. So social, I've switched these off. Shopping is on, and a proof delay, I usually put on there in case I need to fix any images that they've given me notes. So I try and put on a 7-day proof delay. I can also, if I want to, allow a delay on the downloads in case I want to liquefy anything or just go from there with it. Right, from now in the appearance wise, I want to make sure the gallery cover is off. Yes, and we sort by the file name. We do in a setting, we want to switch the camera information off. We show the new file name, the file name in the actual document itself, and I've switched off the slideshow and so on. And this, at this point, we're just going to call it Clients 2023 because it's a new one. And then all we've got to do, use this as my default for new gallery. So every time I create a gallery from now on, it's going to create a new one. And then all I can do is upload the photographs. Let me just go and choose another gallery of Molly's for a minute. Just drag some images for now, just so we can see it. But if we go back onto the other gallery that we created here, that's done that. And in that time, of course, what it's also done, it's put the watermark onto each image. So you can see how it kind of goes across the image. But this was under another preset that I'd already created in advance. So in other words, if we go into the folder at this point, so client files, we select this folder here and we go to settings, and now we go into the preset. We want the client 23 defaults. We want this new one. So if you've already created a preset for the website, which we did, yes, we created a site design kind of preset, but now pretty much the site is built, as it were. So this is going to be available for actually kind of for them to buy. And at this point I've changed it, but I also want to go in and change the access to people with password, and I want to go in and change the password to whatever it would be, and as well first letter cap, and just goes from there. So once I've saved that now, the other web upload has happened. You can see now we have the F4 Boudoir Photography as the font, and you'll also see if we go backwards, it's changed by now. The other one that was on there on the other default, it's changed the actual the watermark again. Right, so we're at a stage where we need to just protect this gallery, remember, because it won't allow us the password. So I could upload at the beginning of the week all of last week's sessions. Just even if we didn't want them visible, we can kind of control how the client sees them. What do I mean by that? In your workflow, you might have uploaded today, but in fact, you're not going to make the gallery live for perhaps 6 weeks until the client's seen their images and picked up their order and things, but it's already just waiting for you to switch it on. So in settings, once more, we need to go in here and change the little thing, which is going to be the security. We want to put it into password, and first letter cap. Obviously, I don't use this all the time, okay? So, but just to give you an idea. But what we've just done is created locked galleries now, and they're visible only with a password going in. Access. Let's click on Site. Yes, and that goes to the front page. Remember, to get on the in part of the site, we created some navigation buttons here. So if we just go into Boudoir, yes, and now we want to add to the real navigation bar internally in the site itself. So what we're going to do is customize design. We're going to click onto the bar. We're going to click onto links. We're going to scroll down to the bottom of those links and hit the plus button. And we're going to type in our clients. Yes, and we want to go to, it's a weird one, all right? It says page, but in fact, in the location picker, you can actually choose where they're going to. So in the client files here, we can actually set them to it. That's where we want them to go to. So if we click on done, and then we say, yes, do we want the sublink to kind of show up? No, we don't. We want them to click into it to go there. If I clicked on the sublink, it would actually have a drop-down menu of all the clients' names and things. So we want them to actually access into our clients, but I do want to open up into a new link perhaps, if I want to make sure that we leave a page behind. That's down to you. So all we need to do now, we've got the client files up here. We press done, publish. And then across the top, we can now see that we've got a new navigation link, which is going to click onto our clients. and this will then go to a page where we can kind of see images. Now, if you don't want to actually show images, basically make sure you use a studio logo or whatever it would be and things, okay? So you've got that little bit of control with it. So from here then, the client would click into it. Because they're not logged in like I am, they basically would have to add the password, and then from within here they can go in and basically pick on an image. But what we want to do now is set up a buy now or a pricing element so the client or we can make some money from it in post sales.